I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
Yeah, I have to go live because people was ringing my phone, my email, people sending me messages on my email and everything, and I find something that was very troubling. Right, there's something very troubling. So if y'all can go into the description box, I got you a couple links, but there's about four or five links in the description box. So there's a story, and this been making rounds. This has been making rounds for the past few days, and and because everything else was going on, this has escaped my venue. So if you got your passport, I want you to understand, especially you passport bros, do not criticize America. Do not criticize America when you're inside or outside of the country because you might get it possibly be revoked. So let me go ahead and show you what this is about. Let me see. George Gowen says, we're living in a George Orwell reality as of this moment. Actually making a crime to have an opinion about someone. MAGA forgets that we have receipts of them making fun of dead people. Yes, yes. And you know what? Let me touch on that. And this is the reason why I have a problem with some of us in the African American community, right? Anytime when a Candace Owens or Brandon Tatum makes a statement, I think we should sue them. You know, that's what I believe what should happen. But anyway, we're here. So here's is an article from the Libertarian Institute, and I'm gonna drop myself out of here and try to drop myself. So this is from the Libertarian Institute, And let me go ahead and read some of this. House bill would give the Secretary of State power to revoke U.S. passport for aiding terrorism. Civil liberty groups are concerned that Secretary of State Marco Rubio could use the power to further crack down on pro-Palestinian voices. Congressman Brian Mass has introduced new legislation that would give Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the authority to revoke passports of American citizens for aiding terrorism. Civil liberty organizations are alarmed that the new bill could lead to government dot policing. A provision tucked away in H.R. 5300 is a provision that will allow the Secretary of State to revoke passports of Americans who are determined by the Secretary to be aiding terrorism. The Secretary of State shall refuse to issue a passport to any individual. Section 226 of the bill says the Secretary determines has knowingly aided, assisted, abetted, and otherwise provide material support to an organization that the Secretary has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Now that is the and let me read a little bit more on this, right? Let me read on this because a certain point just popped up in my head. Now, some of y'all might see where I'm about to head at, right? So, Hef Stern, the director of the advocacy at Freedom of the Press Foundation, told the Intercept Marco Rubio has claimed power to designate people terrorist supporters based on solely what they think and say, even if they don't include the word doesn't include the word about a terrorist organization or terrorism. He went on to say that the bill would allow for dot policing at the hands of one individual. Since becoming Secretary of State, Marco Rubio has used his power to attempt to expel multiple people in America legally who have engaged in pro-Palestinian speech and activism. Wait a minute, what that mean? I will be a terrorist? Anyway, one graduate student, I'm not going to say that name, was detained from writing an op-ed in a school newspaper. Mass, who once wore an Israeli military, see, let's stop right here. Let's stop. See, spoiler alert, right here. Mass, who once wore an Israeli military uniform in the Capitol, has called for expelling terrorist sympathizers from the country. Republicans frequently conflate support for Palestinians or opposition to spending military aid to Israel as pro-terroristic rhetoric. The House is taking additional steps to punish people for holding a pro-Palestinian position. The massive military funding bill, the NDAA, that has passed by the House last week, includes a ban on any Pentagon contractors from taking part in the boycott, divest, and sanctions, which is the BDS movement. All right. Now, we're going to go to the bill, right? We're going to go over here. This is a freshly written bill. I mean, since he was well, last week, I should say, last week Thursday, and this is page one. This is page one. HR 5300. To guide foreign policy of the United States and for other purposes. In the House of Representatives, September 11th, 2025, Mr. Mass introduced the following bill, which was referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations. So let me scroll down a little bit. Let me scroll down a little bit, right? A bill to guide the foreign policy of the United States and for other purposes. Now, I'm not going to read the entire thing right here. You can sit here and see this. But what I'm going to do, let's go to page 43. All right. Let's go to page 43, where it's talked about what the Secretary of State's new power would be. And it's section 226, right? Section 226. Section 226. No passports for terrorists and traffickers. The title of the act, entitled "The Act to Regulate the Issue and Validity of Passports and for Other Purposes," approved July 3rd, 1926, commonly known as the Passport Act of 1926, is amended by adding at the end of the following. Section 4, the authority to deny or revoke passport to individuals providing material support for terrorism. In, yeah. So insurance, subject to subsection, the Secretary of State shall refuse to issue a passport to any individual who has been charged or convicted of a violation of 2339A or 2339B of Title 18 United States Code, or B, the Secretary determines knowingly aided, assisted, abetting, and otherwise provided material support to an organization the Secretary has designated as a terrorist organization pursuant to Section 219 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. The Secretary shall, except as provided in paragraph A, revoke passport previously issued to any individual described in the paragraph. Exceptions. Um, in order to facilitate the return of an individual described in paragraph 1 to the United States, the Secretary of State may limit it previous issue passport or passport card only to return to travel to the United States, and may only issue a limited passport or passport card only permits return travel to the United States prior to the publication under paragraph 2. Now, we're going to go to the right of review, because that's see, one man going to have all that power for everybody's passport. So let's go to the problem here. The right of review. Any individual in accordance to this section is denied assurance issuance of a passport by the Secretary of State, or whose passport is revoked by the Secretary, may request a hearing to appeal such denial or revocation not later than 60 days after receiving notice of such denial or revocation. Revocation. The right of restoration. In the event that an individual described in the paragraph 1 demonstrates during a hearing described in subsection B that the individual has been acquitted of an act described in that paragraph, or the Secretary otherwise change a determination described in subparagraph B of such paragraph, the secretary may reissue a passport to such individual. In general, if the Secretary of State refuse to issue or revokes a passport pursuant to subsection A, and if the subsequent or if a hearing to pursuant to subsection B, the Secretary issues or cancels the revocation of a passport was subject of such hearing. The Secretary shall not later than 30 days after the refusal or revocation shall assurance or cancellation submit to the Committee on Foreign Relations of the House of Representatives and the Committee of Foreign Relations of the Senate a report of such refusal, revocation, assurance, or cancellation, as the case may be. The report, yada 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 yada. Right. So the language, right? The language in section 226, it doesn't say, well, who is a terrorist? In order to be a terrorist, right? Right? Let me go back to the chat room real quick. And oh yeah, let me put myself back up here. Put myself back up here. Yeah, put myself back up here. Yeah. So in order to be a terrorist, you have to disagree. According to the law, you have to disagree with Benjamin Netanyahu. You can say anything. So by criticizing the government of a foreign government at this point, to criticize a foreign government, therefore, though, you are punished if you said anything about the prime minister of a Middle Eastern country. But I thought that the Trump administration was about freedom of speech. I thought the idea, right? I thought the idea was about freedom of speech. I thought the idea was, oh, so this is when the right wing of this country being very, very hypocritical. The right wing of this country is very hypocritical because for two reasons. And one reason is this idea of being pro freedom of speech, but then you as an American being, American first, um, you can't criticize a foreign country. And then two, the second thing is conservatives, including the Trump administration, they always go against or they practice against those who are into identity politics, but then they're practicing identity politics, being identitarians themselves because they're trying to protect a certain ethnic or in this case religious identity. And I'm using protection as because this is not about protecting the the Jews or those who are Israeli. This is about maintaining power over over the American people and force people into um a place of a dark reality. And I don't want to hear anything about the Constitution from any of these conservatives because, oh, freedom of movement. I think, America's have the freedom of movement. The Constitution gave people the freedom to move here, move there, right? So much for your make America great, huh? Anyway, let me jump off of here, and I appreciate y'all for watching, but this is getting scary out here, and I'll see y'all next time. Hold on. See, let me stop. George said most of these passport bros. Oh, oof, oof, oof. You know what? Let me stop right there. Let me stop. I was going to end this live stream. But let me sit here and think about that. See, most of these passport bros are MAGA bootlicks. They have nothing to worry about. Mind you, Rubio isn't going to do a thing about sex tourism and abuse. Oof, oof, oof. No. What if one of these passport bros that most of us love, most of it, who y'all love, I should say, who y'all love and admire and everything else. What if one of these gentlemen decided to say something about like homeboy that went to Kenya, and let's say he goes to Tel Aviv, and he in Tel Aviv, and he said, I don't like such and such girls because such and such girls are fill in the blank insult. Just fill in the blank. Like, I don't know, they got hairy armpits. I don't know. Just fill in the blank. And then you will sit there. Would he would have his passport revoked and kicked out of said out of the host country? I'll laugh at that. If this would ever happen, if somebody lands in Tel Aviv, lands somewhere in the West Bank, lands somewhere in Jerusalem somewhere, and did the same thing that homeboy did in Kenya, I wonder, George. I really wonder about that, man, because it's getting scary out here. You can't question it. Listen, it's bad that you can't even question no, not a former, a foreign government. I know I'm sleepy, y'all. That's why I'm sleepy, y'all. But the thing is, you can't criticize a foreign government, a country that is 2,000, like 25,000 miles away. That's 2,000 miles away. A country that does not border a United States, not one of these 50 states, not a country that is by treaty is an ally of the United States, a country that is not even um, recognized by most of by 90% of the world. You tell me, y'all. You tell me why should Americans be punished for criticizing a nation whose flag we don't live under? Anyway, so everybody can be a terrorist. I can sit there and talk about the government of Israel. Oh, okay, you're a terrorist. Oh, you you don't like how General so and so massacred these Palestinian women. Oh, you are this now. You're part of ISIS. You're part of um, Hezbollah, or you part of Hamas. Or even if you criticize the bombing of Qatar, your passport can be revoked. This is some very interesting times. And I'm going to tell you, people who voted for Donald Trump, We told y'all this was going to happen. We told I for one, I don't know about everybody else. I told people, listen, this is about to happen. I told you that last year. But anyway, nobody gonna pay attention to me anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. I want to thank George in the chat room because this is a short live stream under, you know, it's a short live stream, and I did this and but anyway, on a short notice. So see y'all next time. Y'all go ahead and go to my Cash App if y'all want. Anyway, I'll see you next time. I'm out.
I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.